Today, I want to share with you the new state and district FFA officer application. We have a new application that is based through AET, and also a cool thing about this application is that chapters can use this as a chapter application as they like as well. So as you log into your AET as a student, I'm logged in here and you're at your dashboard. The first thing you will want to do is go to the reports tab. I do apologize, my computer is running slow today. Once you're in the reports tab, you'll go to the degree application manager. This takes a student to a place where they can start their state FFA degree, American degree proficiencies, as well as the new officer application. And they will go to start a new application by choosing from this drop-down menu. And as you click there, you'll see the Alabama FFA Officer Application. So you'll click that and you'll click Add New. Once you do that, you'll have a new application that generates for the Alabama FFA Officer Application. And once you click on that application, you can see the new pieces to this. The cover page should pull mostly from your AET profile, but it's always good to go through and check everything and make sure it's all in there thoroughly. There are some aspects of this application in particular that will not pull from AET, so it's important you go through the entire application and make sure everything is correct. So as you go down, this top part looks a lot like every other FFA application that you can do with your name, address, that kind of thing. As we go down here, we see some new features that are specific to our application, like t-shirt size. So we've got a place for officers to put that in. That's always important information to have, as well as the FFA jacket size. And they even have a link here to the measuring tool at ffa.org. So you can indicate what size jacket you would need. And from typically most of the male jackets are 100 dash, and the female's 103 dash on the ordering. So as you can see, we don't have that option. So if you want something specific as far as not traditional on the jacket size, please let the state specialist know so they can make sure they order the right jacket for you. But that'll all be confirmed once you're elected. Officer level for this application, this is where I was talking about. You can indicate if you want to use this as a chapter application, you could. But for our sake today, we're going to be talking about district and state officer application. So select the correct area there, and then the grade level in school at the time of application. So this is when you're applying in February, March-ish, this should be the grade you're currently in. And then all of this should populate from AET. If it does not, please make sure to fill that in. As you click off of everything, whenever you do type something in, always click off to the side or something, because that will allow you to everything to save properly. If you go to membership check, this will pull up your FFA membership. If something looks off here and as you're preparing this, please feel free to call a district improvement specialist or one of our state staff to help you there with getting your records in and updated. Sometimes that can be tricky, and always use this refresh data button after you make a change in the FFA roster. But this pulls from FFA roster history. So it's a great way to tell what your FFA history looks like as a membership. Supporting records. This is gives a brief overview of the things that are contained in this application, as well as your AET record book. So a judge could technically go print or click on this link and pull up someone's record book and take a deeper dive into your FFA resume, your SAE project, and things of that nature. For the application, the dates for the application, it looks very similar to everything else. This is what runs through December of the previous year. So with this application, we're not worried about this as much as a state degree or something like that maybe looking at. So we can even feel free to pull this to the current year of 2022, and that way you can put in things up until your application time. So we'll work on making sure that functions the way it should as well. Next tab is SAE, and this will pull from AET. You have to have your SAE records in AET. Record keeping is a vital part of being an FFA member, and AET is a wonderful system for doing that. So once you put your records in, this would generate for a judge a summary of your SAE project and give them some specifics about your project. We have a lot of videos on our YouTube channel that can help you with inputting records into AET. Next, we'll move on to our essay questions. We have 4 essay questions you'll need to answer, and you can always hover over these question marks if you need a little assistance in anything. What are your goals as an FFA officer is the first question. We want to know what you want to see happen as an officer, as either a district or state officer. What goals do you bring to the table for the group and for the state and district? The next question is, what qualities do you possess that will make you successful as an FFA officer? This is a chance to brag on yourself. Don't be afraid to do that. You are your #1 supporter here. So please make sure to tell us what you possess that will make you great at this. The next question, please explain what priority you will put on serving as an FFA officer in relation to other activities you are involved in. Be sure to include specific activities you're involved in, such as sports, band, cheerleading, job, etc. So every year during interviews, everyone is very gung-ho that FFA office is going to be their primary activity, and then throughout the year, other things are going to come up. If you're involved in other activities, they're going to come up, and that's fine. We think it's great for you to be involved in multiple things. However, this is a job. This is something we depend on you for. So we want to know, we want you to be very honest in the time commitment you're going to serve FFA. If you know you're on a team that you can't get out of practice to come to an FFA meeting that we might have once a month, that could be an issue that we want to be aware of before electing you. So please be honest in this, and be honest in assessing what your commitment will be before you run. We don't want to deal with issues down the road. Last question, very important. Why do you want to become an FFA officer? Why? That's always a key question, and knowing your heart and where your heart lies and the reasoning behind what you do. So we want you to share that with us. Replacing some parts in the old application, we do have a resume section that can be done in AET, or it can be done here. And it tracks things like your FFA activities, your community service, your school and extracurricular, your awards. Looks very similar to the old application, but it also gives you a place to put references in here at the bottom of people that could vouch for you, your quality of character, and the job you might do as an officer. So next, we have the photo biography, a little place for you to tell us about yourself. Tell us about your background, your FFA involvement. Tell us your story here. Tell us about how your SAE has impacted you and what your future plans look like. Just a short, brief biography that tells us something that maybe the application didn't tell us previously. And then you'll want to save that here. And you'll also ask you to upload a high quality image. This helps our judges remember when they're seeing 20 kids in a day interview. Sometimes they need help remembering who was who. So please help us by uploading a high quality photo here. Finally, we do have some electronic signatures that have to be done. One is your signature as the applicant. You'll type in your name here and everything. Next is a parent guardian. So you'll put in their email address and put request signature. It will send an email to your parent to approve. And then there's one here for the school administrator. You can use your principal, your superintendent, and assistant principal, a counselor, even someone that can validate your academic achievement and approve that you are going to run for this office. So electronic signature here. Once you are done with all that, you can come to the print application screen, and it will have the option to complete save your app. And once it is finalized, there's nothing missing, and you're done. You hit that button, it will give you a PDF version of that. Once that's done, you're done. If you go back and make any changes, always come back and hit this button again. You may have 4 versions of this application, but make sure every change you make, you have to hit this button after it's been done. Otherwise, it does not record anything. This will only, so this has to be done always. So right before you're ready to submit your application, I would come and just click this button again and always get the latest version. And then it's on your teacher. So now we're going to look at the teacher side of things as I go back into the account. So now I'm in the teacher dashboard at AT, and teachers, you'll be able to access this through the awards degree manager at FFA.org. And here you see this button says state submission list and feedback. This is where you'll submit your students' applications this year. You see these play buttons on these pages can give you short video tutorials as well from AET about how to manage your degree app manager, as well as when you click on the state submission list and feedback, here are all the lists we do electronic applications for. And if you'll click on that again right here, the submission list video, Roger Hannegriff at AET will give you a walkthrough of how to submit things. So we're going to submit right here to Alabama FFA Officer Application. You click that edit list button, and any applications you had that were finished and had that button for complete pushed would generate here. And you would select that application here to add. As you see, we don't have any ready yet on our side, but once you do, you'll see them here and you'll be able to add them from here. And then you can always email or call us to make sure it went through. We'll certainly send out a list a day or two after the due date to make sure we have not missed anybody. Again, these videos are key to help you out. So that is the application process. Outside of that, a few things you need to know is to review the FFA Officer Handbook. That can be found at alabamaffa.org by going to the resources page. And if you scroll down to Officer Resources, it's near the little bit down. Here we go, Documents. You'll see the Alabama Officer Handbook. We are currently making a few changes to this that will be updated here very briefly in the next day or two. You'll see new changes to this, but nothing major, just a few structural changes, a few resource changes. And if you'll read through that book, this booklet tells you everything you're expected of as an officer, gives you timelines of things. It tells you our code of ethics, tells you our dress code, how we'll handle discipline issues. It covers almost everything, as well as information about the interviews and how to prepare yourself for the interviews. As you see, sample scorecards and that kind of thing for state officer, sample for how we do the writing prompt rubric or the any other publicity activity. But when you get to the bottom, around page 18, you're getting to officer agreements. You need to read through these waivers and you need to have them signed, and some of them actually require to be notarized. This is a officer understanding just the responsibilities. Again, this page is very similar to what was in the application as far as an electronic, but just another layer of coverage for us. And then if you go down here as an insurance medical release form, proof of insurance, because as an officer, you will be expected to drive and get to places. And that's your responsibility to figure that out between you and your family and your teacher. So we need this, and this has to be notarized by a notary public. Talk to your teacher about that and make sure to get this notarized. And then finally, just another signature page that this covers that you, your parent guardian, your advisor, all have read through this book and understand what we're asking, because we are going to follow this book for anything that comes up, good, bad, and ugly. So we need to know that you've read it, you understand it, and you agree to it. So sign all this. So I need these 3 pages signed and or these 4 pages printed, signed, and those need to be brought with you to the interview at district interviews. You should bring those the day of your district interview, okay? And those should be turned in. So we look forward to seeing you in March. We look forward to the upcoming mock interviews. Please take advantage of that. Please let us know if you have any questions at all. We're here to help and we're happy to help. But thank you for your willingness to serve as an FFA officer. We wish you all the best of luck.